Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. This is Biking Buddies, the motor vlog. I'm out flying solo today. I'm in the beautiful North Yorkshire Moors, but this time I'm on the northeastern shoulder doing a recce run for an up-and-coming TRF event that I'll be leading for the ADV bikes. And man alive, am I glad that I did the recce, because just the other side of where those cattle are that we can possibly just see right down at the bottom, that's where the trail turns right, and man oh man is that one steep and rutty. It would be an ascent for me on the day. There's absolutely no way that I would get the T7 and a larger ADV bike group up that hill. So as a good friend once said, time doing a recce is time seldom wasted, and there's never a true example than today. So on that note, in fine Biking Buddies fashion, as always, grab yourself a brew, grab yourself a beer and come with me on this week's recce run Biking Buddies motor vlog. Let's roll VT.
Where do you go when you're young, when you're restless, when you're fun, cause you're desperate? Oh, here they come for a chance, for adventure. What's your poison, what's your pleasure?
Okay, so that is the intro out of the way, as you have well seen. Now, in a little bit more detail to that intro, let me explain what I'm up to. There is a TRF run event coming up in early parts of September, of which I volunteered to lead an ADV group. I'm very familiar with the central part of the North Yorkshire Moors and the western shoulder. Use the clutch in just for the horses. And the western shoulder of the North Yorkshire Moors, but less so, as you guys that follow me on the channel will be aware, that eastern side of the national park. More familiar with the forest than I am in the patch that I'm riding at the moment, hence the recce. So the idea of today is just to fly solo, purely that I can faff around, I can jump off the bike, I can walk a few sections of the trails, which is what I've just done there. I've ridden about 2/3 of what would have been my opening trail. However, the ascent coming up from the stream bed there, wow, it was unbelievably narrow, very rutty. Yeah, absolutely 100% enduro stuff only, and not for the ADV bike. Maybe if you're Paul Tarish you could possibly hustle a T7 up there, but I'm not, and I'm also mindful that I'm very likely going to have a few folk in the group that are maybe even a little bit less experienced than yours truly, if that is actually possible. And it's such a shame, because the latter part, which is the bit that I've just ridden of that trail, was utterly beautiful, just across the top of an escarpment. Thank you very much, Mr. BM. Thank you. And yeah, that was utterly gorgeous, but yes, as a good friend did say, time spent on a recce is time seldom wasted, and I'm far glad that I'm faffing around today on my own doing that kind of thing than if I had a group with me live in real time. So I do have the route mapped out in OS Maps, and that's what I'm going to follow today. So, first little trail, or rather second little trail, but hopefully, judging by this one's going to be ADV friendly all the way. No way, is that a deer in front of me? Yes it is, don't know whether you can see that. Wow, that's a good start. Deer on the track. Not entirely sure what this will be like in the wet, but yeah, in the dry it certainly seems to be okay so far. Well, it's a little bit of a field track, this one, because whilst there's a slight indentation in the grass in front of me there, it's yeah, it's very overgrown, as you can see with the grass, but very pleasant. We're just following this escarpment round, just following the tree line. And so far, whilst this is, I think this is marginally challenging, I do think it is doable so far, he said, famous last words. I mean, typically, a lot of these trails, I guess, we are, until we're actually into the open heathland, we are still in the North Yorkshire Moors National Park on the coastal section, but we are just following arables, and they, typically they are, whoops, don't want to go down there. They are just access tracks for the farm vehicles, and obviously those farm vehicles come through them in all types of weather, and I guess that's where we get the very deep tractor ruts, I guess. But so far, yeah, second gear tick over. This is all quite pleasant. So when you've never been anywhere, it's always encouraging to see the TRF logo on the side of a gate there. I'm fairly good at map reading, I must admit. I do thrive on a bit of mappage, but that said, it's always just that reassurance factor that you are in the right place, especially when, you know, beautiful houses like these. The last thing that people would want is people trespassing across the land, being in places where they shouldn't be. And here we are. Oops, absolutely fantastic. So it looks like we just climb up and around this field up to the top, just bordering and being very mindful of the livestock. Superb, loving it. Yeah, just keeping that pace down a little bit, being very respectful. I am in full view of those houses behind me as well, and that aside, there is livestock in this field. So there's a code of conduct that we do need to follow, respecting shared spaces as always. So it looks like we might get a little bit rut-tastic up here. I guess the ground's quite soft when it's wet, but we're definitely, most definitely, in the right place. Superb, I love this. I think what I like about days like today as well, even though there's a little bit of nerves jangling around because I am flying solo by choice, of course, but when you're on trails that are brand new to you and you've never seen them before, there is the element of accuracy of navigation, but also that feeling of, I don't know, self-doubt, I guess. You're just constantly questioning yourself, am I in the right place? Can I handle this track? There's always an inbuilt yes I can, but then pushing yourself to a point or to a limit where you reach that limit and beyond, and then it's very difficult to extricate, self-rescue, etc. But this little track is one of the ones that I was very keen to have a look at. It does link across to the Moor Road, and I'm guessing this is definitely a dry weather only route for the ADV bike, just having gone through that completely dried out peat bog. Here's another section. Certainly the, I won't say trained eye, but certainly the trained eye would recognise that in the peat bogs that we're on at the moment, this would be very, very challenging on a heavy bike. Superb, absolutely loved that. So far, that is my favourite trail so far. And through the gate and into the deep, deep bracken. I guess this is where we are once again, just riding the bike by feel. Superb. I guess, you know, when you're familiar with these trails, they're probably, you know, that novelty factor wears off, it's just much of a muchness. But when you've never been down here before, this is just incredible. We are just forging our way through the bracken. It is changing colour, I can see that. We're in the dieback now, we're in the latter parts of the summer. But as I say, I don't think I certainly would get this bike over here in very wet conditions, and aside of whether you physically could or not, as in having the ability to do that, it just rips the tracks up, and that spoils it for absolutely everybody. Wow, we're getting rutty now. And the pull up to the Moor Road, don't want to overshoot. And there we are. Wow, this is the main Whitby to Gisborough Transit Moor Road. Very fast, very dangerous road for bikes, and this is not the best get out. I didn't know that this is where that trail popped out. I guess we're far better turning right here where we actually are. And on we forge again. Yeah, looking at these, I don't know whether these are probably okay in the wet. Quite rutty just coming down through the woods there, the section that I've just bounced my way through. Let's just get up here. But yeah, very, very pleasant, and certainly quite hot, just rustling and hustling the bike through on your own, but very, very pleasant indeed. So let's have a look at what's at the bottom of here. I think there's just a tiny little water splash. Well, probably won't even be any water in it, to be fair. We are so dry at the moment, which that suits me down to the ground. Nope, just cow muck. And yes, if YouTube had smelly vision, oh my life, I think I've spared you for that one. Just an acknowledging wave to the landowner or land manager. Always pays dividend. Beautiful, utterly beautiful. I know these are working farms, but these buildings and the locations, absolutely stunning. And here we are. This is the rocky descent, just the other side of that lip there. We drop down quite steeply to the bottom of Mill Lane. I absolutely love this lane, and I've got DC to thank for that one. He brought me across here probably about 18 months ago. This top section across the fields can be incredibly slippy, as you would well imagine. It's very clay based when it's wet, but when it's dry, it's an utter pleasure to ride this lane. It's always tricky just stopping the bike in a place suitable where I can get the stand down and the bike's not actually going to fall over. And here's that rocky loose section on the way down. Just kind of got to keep a bit of momentum going really and let the bike do whatever the bike wants to do. It's not normally this stony, but about a month or two back we had a phenomenal amount of rain, like probably best part of a month's worth of rain in a couple of days, I think it was, the stats. And as a result, yeah, a lot of these trails, you can see where the water, this is just water damage, not vehicular damage. But it's a good lane nonetheless. Stay out of that rut, there we go. I do enjoy it down here because it's, I won't say it's not a very well travelled lane, but yeah, there's not a vast amount of people come down here, so generally speaking you don't actually meet anybody. So I think we'll just get up on this little rise at the top there, and stomach is certainly feeling in need of some sustenance now. And that is lunch done and dusted. What a beautiful spot. As I was saying there on the way down, just completely tranquil, had the place entirely to myself. So then we're into the wood section here. We've got the little splashette to go through and the hidden waterfall that we're not going to have a look at today because we looked at that the last time we were here. There we go. No water in there at all, but you could see how green those rocks were. Very slippy indeed. And a nice little boisterous climb on the other side to pop us out into the road section. I do enjoy Mill Lane. There's something very nice about it. So this will be interesting. We have a group of ramblers and they're all pulling out the way as if I'm coming down here at Mach 10. Oh, one gent is opening the gate. Absolutely fantastic. Look at that. Superb. Good morning, folks. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thank you. And for me, I think that is a prime example of how you can influence the interaction between trail rider and the older generation, to be fair. And yeah, you know, rambling club, ramblers, walkers, they're out enjoying this beautiful day just as much as I am. They've got just as much right to be here as I have. And I genuinely do believe, you know, back that pace down. I was coming downhill, clutch in, tick over, bit of interaction, positive outcome. I don't know, should we be more ambassadorship with trail riding and interaction? Personally, if I'm honest, yeah, I think absolutely we should. So I just flicked the camera on here because there is a phenomenon this time of year, particularly around about August, September time. I think it lasts around about a month, maybe tops. So we're probably right in the middle of it, and that is all of the heather out in bloom, in blossom. Look at how purple the landscape is. Now it's a little bit bright, but not sunny bright today. When the sun gets on this, man alive, it is vivid. And yeah, it's definitely one of the things that the North Yorkshire Moors in particular is famed for, and that is all of the heather coming out in bloom and lighting up the landscape bright purple. So I've just walked a little way down the start of this trail. Yeah, it certainly looks like it clears away a little bit here, but I am very mindful that I'm on my own, and obviously if I drop the bike down here, yes, I can pick the bike up, but I'm kind of committed, because certainly getting the bike back up here isn't really going to be an option for me. And you can see with this opening section here, it is quite rough. A lot of greenery. These rocks are very, very slippy even underfoot. So whilst I am going to do this trail, it certainly won't be today, and I don't think it'll be on the ADV focused ride either. See, steps like this, you know, they're going to be problematic when I'm on my own. So yeah, I'm going to have to wait till Richie, my wingman, is back from overseas. Look at this step here. Yeah, wait till my wingman is back from overseas, and then we'll get this trail done. So there's the trusty T7, and that's the good thing about doing a recce, is it is time seldom wasted. Well, I must admit, for a recce day, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm having a whale of a time. I sincerely hope that we have dry weather when it comes to the main event, as it were, because some of these trails are really only dry weather trails, if I'm brutally honest. A little bit of rain wouldn't be too much of a drama, but if we have a wet week lead up to the event, then we'll have to have a little bit of a rethink of the route. So that sees us out of the tiny little hamlets and villages, and we're now going to stretch our legs across the moor top. And again, look how resplendent everything is, just in all of this vivid purple. Absolutely, utterly stunning part of the world that we live in. And climb, baby, climb over the little rocky lumps and rocky humps. Quite a bit more grading on this track since I was over here last. This was a lot of just open peat bog, and certainly if you recall seeing on the video, it was a good while back now, but there were some fairly deep ruts and trenches across here, but they all appear to have been filled in with this hardcore, which is kind of good and bad. Very good for the trail, but it kind of flattens the riding out a little bit. But not to worry, it's an ADV focused ride that we're doing, so this is good recce work. So we end up on a very high point up here, which is Danby Beacon, predominant place, and we get a very commanding view and vista all the way out to the North Sea. We can even see as far up as Sunderland, and just beyond that kind of Newcastle, or the entrance to the Tyne, should I say. A couple of trail riders on the way down. Do I recognise anybody? Nope. Didn't recognise anybody. And here we are, Danby Beacon. Yeah, nice little trail. It's been closed. It's had a TRO in it for a long time. But thankfully it's open. It's a nice little link that just throws us at the top of the Danby Beacon Laleholme track, which is a nice fast flowing trail that takes us where we need to be. And here we are with one of those descents that I guess you hope that when you get to the bottom everything is okay, because it would be a little bit challenging coming up here. Not impossible obviously, but yeah, it certainly would. It would be a little testing, that is for sure. Now this is a beautiful part of the North Yorkshire Moors, absolutely stunning. We cross the railway here, and we crisscross this railway just constantly as it works its way through the Esk Valley, and so do we. And ultimately we've got to cross the river at the bottom. I would only ever attempt this in the summer months when it was dry, partly because of this descent, but namely also the water levels. I was across here the other week and the water is very low, and whilst that's good for generally the river crossing, the bad thing about the summer is just the amount of growth and general algal growth that's on the bottom of the crossing, making it incredibly slippery. Now this sees me approaching one of the other newer lanes. I've done this one a couple of times. I've done it once last year going down, and I've done it last week coming up. And I must admit, coming up was quite the challenge indeed. So yes, it's very rutty. GoPro battery change. What a place for it to die. Still, at least it died here and not at a committed point on the track. That is for sure. And it's quite an overgrown trail as well, certainly on the upper sections, till we get down into the woods, as it were. But this is what I mean about it being very, very rocky. Oh, in the bushes. Oh, not the best of starts. There we go. Yeah, very rocky, very steppy. And for yours truly on the big ADV bike, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, this one. I'm really not sure this is a trail that I would do when it's been prolonged wet. But when I look at this, certainly those top sections and then the middle third really is, yeah, I can't believe that I came up here on my own. Just I was quite pleased with that. Although I must admit, heart was completely in my mouth the entire way. And yes, this is where we start to get very steep and very rocky indeed. But I think this is more than doable for our weekend ride. Fantastic. And that really is us down now. Bit of a wash crossing and grab some shade underneath the railway bridge. And when I say splashette, this one literally is a splashette. So through an inauspicious gate there with one of those signs, bull in field. So yeah, let's hope I can ride quicker than the bull if the bull takes a disliking to me. So far so good. These new to me trails, I am very, very mindful that as I'm going down them, and this one is very definitely a going down it, I'm also looking at the trail with the view that if I get stuck, could I go back up it? And I guess if it starts to get super gnarly, really there's got to be a decision point where I then decide whether to continue or to reverse the routing. But so far this is all looking rather splendid, rather nice. So we have Gromont down to our left hand side, and that is the famous terminus point for the steam railway. And it's at the bottom of this trail, I do believe, that we have to cross the Merk Esk. And the Merk Esk is attributed to the main river. We are a reasonable way down, so I'm kind of hoping that there's not going to be a vast amount of water in it. Otherwise, I will be coming back up this track. And here we are. This, I believe, is the Merk Esk. Now, I think I've got a bit of an option here, so I'm going to get pulled up and just have a look principally at where I'm at, where I've got to go, because I do believe there's another trail that is now behind me that is also an option for the day as well. So this is the Merk Esk. That actually looks quite deep there, but we've got a ford here and one behind me, so this one doesn't look too well. They're both pretty empty, obviously. It's just how grippy or not they happen to be. Let's have a quick look. Right, okay, so that one's okay there. Slippy bits there. Oh, how slippy is that? Got to watch out for these concrete slabs. And I'm away on that one. So, Merk Esk, what a beautiful place. Look at this. Let's go have a look at the other way, which was the preferred way out. And far better to have some tomfaffery on my own than when I've got a group with me. Okay, so cobbles rather than concrete. Let's have a quick, can't actually see for the sun. That's not bad. Whoa, that is super slippy. Yep, that's slippy. I mean, we'll be okay, I guess. Just take it canny through. It's a bit deeper, this one, and slippy, but I reckon a feet out and paddle it should be okay. You can see why the sign is at the top saying frequently impassable. That's the decision made then. The trail behind me there really was just a white road, as it were, so we'll get ourselves through here. You can feel how super slippy this is. Unbelievably slippy. Yep, like sideways already. Look at that algal growth on the bottom. Nothing there on the front wheel whatsoever. I think that is very definitely sit down and glide your feet. Still, it's all new stuff and it's all very good. Into Groan, Steamtown, and I wonder if there are any trains leaving the station. It's got to be worth a look. Everybody likes a steam train. How cool is this? Don't always get this on a motor vlog, do we? Do you know what? It's been absolutely fantastic discovering these new to me lanes. It's been really good, and I guess, you know, without being enrolled on these adventure weekends and things, these away days that the TRF are organised, then I probably never would have, well, I'm never saying never, but I possibly wouldn't have then forced the issue and had a look at routes outside of my normal area, my normal riding area, and I guess really in truth outside my normal comfort zone. But here we are, forging our way through some porky little back lanes, but they are very good fun, and I do keep checking on the old Mapage that I'm in the right place, and indeed I am. I guess once you've travelled these lanes a few times, then you know the lay of the land and where you're going to pop out, landmarks, houses, churches, etc. And I guess moreover what to expect, what the terrain is going to give you. But this is certainly very pleasant for the ADV group. Okay then folks, so that was a recce run for the real thing, which in real time is about two to 3 weekends away, I think. So obviously in live time, by the time you're picking the videos up, it'll still be that same time parameter, but just everything will be +1. So here we are high above Whitby, heading towards where the campsite is going to be. If you have stuck with me to the very end of this video, then thank you very much for your company as always. If you haven't done so already, then please hit that subscribe button. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm. Let me get pulled up here just before we're on the main road. It does wonders for the YouTube algorithm and the overall growth of the channel. If you care to leave a comment, please do so as well. I do my level best to reply to all of the comments, both positive and negative indeed. So the final thing remaining is for me to say to you guys, thank you very much for your company as always, wherever you are. Enjoy your ride, and we'll see you next time. Keep it safe, keep it shiny side up. Catch you later folks. Bye now, bye.